Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This discourse is dedicated to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, our spiritual master and the founder and Acharya of the worldwide Hare Krishna movement. Now we are going to discuss a very important subject matter. So I request, please try to hear with rapt attention. All of us are working very hard with just one aim in life. Just one aim, but we have many desires, one may ask. Yes, the endeavors could be many, but the aim is one, and that is happiness. We think if we become very rich, very knowledgeable, very beautiful, very learned, have good family members and friends with us, that will make us very happy. And this is the fundamental mistake that we make in our attempt to become happy. Why fundamental mistake? Because we are seeing all those people who have achieved all these things. The richest person, the best CEO of all times, the best celebrity of all times on the planet, the best of the sportsmen, they are all unhappy, anxious, and many times depressed for many years, if not months. What is the mistake that everybody is committing? The same mistake happened with Arjuna also. Arjuna also was materially a very successful person. He was a very great general, one of the greatest fighters. He had very good looks. He had very nice family. He was a very sharp moralist, had a very kind and loving family. But despite all these achievements, which we think will make us happy, Arjuna was not happy. What is a mistake? So we have to always remember this example which the Shastras give. Patanga, we all know a moth. How moth is very much convinced, if I just get closer and jump into fire, I would become very happy. The moth is captivated by the vision of the fire. In a similar fashion, we are captivated by these opulences, materialistic enjoyments of mind and body, and we think, if I can just get closer and enjoy all these things, I would become very happy in life. And this is a mistake. Just like a moth jumps into fire and realizes another feature of fire, which is heat, we realize another very painful feature of this material world: birth, death, old age, disease, and unlimited anxieties and complexities. So just like a moth, we are jumping into so many miseries, getting attracted by the green grass on the other side, materialistic success. So we should take guidance from wise people. We cannot concoct our own formula for happiness. H2 plus O2 is water. There is a standard way for making water. We cannot create water out of anything else. In a similar fashion, there is a standard formula for happiness. We cannot manufacture our own way to become happy. Just like the sweet, when you put it on your tongue, you feel very good sensation. That is the design of the tongue. That is the way you can enjoy, relish the enjoyment of taste. In a similar fashion, it is very important to have knowledge about our own self if we want self-satisfaction and happiness in life. And this knowledge is so important that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, had to come, descend down, incarnate to explain it to all of us through the medium of Arjuna. So Lord Krishna explained to Arjuna, Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya. Just like we change clothes, when the clothes become old, we change the bodies. We are eternal. We are different from this body. Whole life we work very hard just to satisfy the externals. not caring about our own self. I am completely different from this body. And this knowledge of self, spirit soul, what is spirit soul and how to satisfy the spirit soul is explained very beautifully in the scriptures. Yatha taror mool nishechanena tripyanti tatra skanda bhujopashaka. Nobody has this knowledge. Even though some people are able to understand, I am not the body, I am spirit soul, but they do not understand further what is the origin of the spirit soul and how to satisfy the spirit soul. If I stop all the hard works of simply satisfying my external dress, I understand putting foodstuffs on the dress will not satisfy me, but this does not give me positive knowledge of what will satisfy me, and that knowledge the scriptures mention. Yatha taror mool nishechanena. The mool, the root of the tree, is to be watered if we want to nourish the entire tree. We need to put the foodstuffs in the stomach if all the limbs of the body have to be healthy. In a similar fashion, this most important knowledge is explained in the Upanishads and in the Bhagavad Gita, that the soul is part and parcel of Super Soul, Supreme Lord, God. Krishna explains to Arjuna, Mama evansho jiva loke jiva bhutas sanatanaha. You are always my ansha, my part and parcel. Just like the finger is part and parcel of this body. If this knowledge is not there with the finger, and finger tries to put in some other body, in some other mouth or in some other place, so finger cannot be happy. In a similar fashion, we are trying to serve so many people, but we are not engaging ourselves in the service of God, and we are part and parcel. That is the design of the soul. Soul is connected to God, just like the leaf is connected to the root of the tree, the limbs of the body are connected to stomach. So only when the foodstuffs are fed to the stomach, finger, all the limbs get nourished. In a similar fashion, the message of Bhagavad Gita is devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. So who is that Supreme Lord? Who is God? And how do we understand I am different from this body? And what is the way of satisfying the Supreme Soul? This wonderful knowledge of the science of self, the super self, this material creation, the purpose, and all the connected categories is very beautifully explained in Bhagavad Gita. So if all the knowledge of the Upanishads is compared to cow, which explains the fundamentals of spiritual life, the most important essence of that knowledge, just like the most important essence of cow is milk, so it is explained in the glorification of Gita. Sarvopanishado gavo dogdha gopal nandanaha partho vatsa sudhir bhokta dugdham gitamritam mahat. If all the knowledge of Upanishads is compared to cow, the wonderful knowledge which all the Western scientists, Heisenberg, Niels Bohr, Nikola Tesla, all of them were very deeply studying, the essence of that knowledge is Bhagavad Gita. And who is the milkman who is taking out this essence of all the Upanishads? He is Gopal Nandanaha, Lord Krishna, Supreme Lord himself. And Arjuna is Vatsa compared to calf, and the milk is drank by other people aside from the calf, and they are called Sudhir, Sudhir Bhokta. So if we want to relish this essence of the Upanishads, we have to have this quality of being Sudhir, very, very sober. Senses are controlled, satisfied in all circumstances. But even if we are not so Sudhir, need not worry. Simply by hearing this message with rapt attention, we will become Sudhir, and then we will realize this knowledge. So I am very glad that we are going to discuss this knowledge. My name is Gaurmandal Das from Hare Krishna movement. I congratulate all of you. Now we are going to realize the most important knowledge in the corpus of all the Upanishadic knowledge, which is called the Bhagavad Gita. If we assimilate this nicely and spread this knowledge to everyone, the whole world will become very, very happy. So let us start with chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. The only qualification is hearing with attention. So 5,000 years ago, there was a rift in the family of the Kurus, who were the rulers of Hastinapur. Pandavas were the rightful heirs to the throne, but their uncle, Dhritarashtra, who was ruling on their behalf, Pandavas who were yet to come of age, wanted his sons to occupy the throne. So Pandavas were very liberal. They told, it is fine, let our brothers rule. We are not greedy, but we are Kshatriyas, we cannot have any other occupation. Kshatriya is but trained to rule and in this way maintain his livelihood. So please give us at least 5 villages. On being denied any piece of land whatsoever, even equaling the tip of a needle, when all the peaceful negotiations failed, finally a war was declared. Rather, it became the world war. All the kings of the world got divided into 2 parties, Kauravas and Pandavas. And Dhritarashtra, who was the king is supposed to lead the fight, but because he was blind, he could not join. So Dhritarashtra is sitting in his own palace with his secretary Sanjay, who was a student of Vedavyas, and by the mercy of Vedavyas, he was able to envision everything that is happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So this discussion between Sanjay and Dhritarashtra, as explained in the great historical epic Mahabharata, forms the basis of all the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. So let us start with chapter number 1, observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra.